It's another elevator pitch. And today, stepping into the elevator is DS McColgan. Did I say that right?
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Got the accent right. Um, well, we're stuck in the elevator. Ryan's pushed all the buttons, so we've got a little bit of time. So let us know, who is DS McColgan?
Yeah, you might hear from my funny accent, or let's say interesting accent. Um, I'm I'm not English isn't my first language. I'm actually Swiss, but I live in Wales now, so it's all sorts of interesting influences. Um, I was a psychologist originally, and then when we moved to Wales, I worked in a library for a little bit. And then after I had my daughter, I just decided this was the right time to try and pursue my dream of writing a book. Um, I started with some short stories, and then my own I'm publishing my own series now, um, which is the A Tale of series. And I'm currently, so I've published book one, I've published book two, and I'm just in the process of publishing book three. It's it's out on ebook. The paperback is going to come on the 10th of April, and then there's going to be one more book to wrap it all up.
Wonderful. Well, you're here to pitch, so why don't you pitch us your series? Tell us all about it.
Yes, so I think I'll talk about the premise of book one a
Yep.
little bit first, and then about book three because that one's a little bit special.
Okay. Yep.
So book one starts with the main character Liliana finds a stranger in the forest, and he's terribly injured, and there's sort of a bit of gore and blood, bits maybe lying around. And she brings the stranger back to her home, her father's farm, where she lives with her family, and she decides to try and save his life, despite there being lots of rumors about rabies and like monsters at night. And but she feels it's her responsibility to try and nurse him back to health. Um, and what I write is fantasy, but with slow burn romance included and a bit of supernatural powers. And I tried to create a sort of cozy but also dark fairy tale atmosphere. And so I think you can kind of see where this might be going, the story. But this, she's then trying to figure out who this handsome stranger could be, where he comes from, and what happened in the forest. And uh, when she, I don't want to give too many spoilers, so we can go ahead. But yes, that's basically the premise of it. Um, and then with book three, that again is a bit of a funny story, but more from my perspective, because I don't know if you're all also writers.
I
Maybe you
am.
are.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have some because I write in German and English. I have some German test readers, and I also have some English
Oh
test
wow.
readers. Not a lot, just a
Yeah.
couple. But so when I wrote the book, because of the plot and because of what happens, I was forced to have a change of perspective
Hmm.
in books, and I've always wanted to try the villain perspective. And I went in, and it makes sense from the plot. It just kind of makes sense to go into the villain perspective for book three. So I gave this to my German test readers, and they were not thrilled. And as an author, that's a bit disheartening, right?
Hmm.
Because, okay, this is my target audience. They're not liking this book. So I talked to my editor a little bit, and we were looking at can this be tweaked so it's better? But ultimately, I decided I just had to pick a different perspective, and so I went with the love interest. So book three is written from his perspective now.
Hmm.
So I had, because of my self-imposed deadlines, I had a very short amount of time to try and
Yeah.
rewrite the whole book, like the same part of the story.
Mhm.
But then I translated it, I gave it to my English test readers, and guess what the English test readers said? They said, "We love this book. This is your best book yet." And okay, what do I do now, right? Um, I mean, in the end, I guess it just comes down to personal preference
Yeah.
because I wanted to, the villain is a different type of character, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to reflect her character in the writing because this is her point of view. And so I guess it changed a bit from this more slow-paced fairy tale atmosphere to following someone who's a bit curt and a bit aggressive, which is probably why my German test readers weren't so thrilled with it. But my English test readers thought, oh, this is fun, this is different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so now I have two books, same part of the story, two different books,
Yeah.
and just figured, you know what, I've written them already. I'm a self-publisher, I can do whatever I want.
That's it.
I'm gonna publish both of them, and my readers can decide which path they want to follow to get to book four. So,
Wonderful. It sounds super interesting. I love mixing genres. I right now I'm mixing fantasy, supernatural, and sci-fi all together. So that's a lot of fun.
it is a fun match. And I think sometimes as authors, we probably write what we like to read.
Yep.
I know I do. Um, but then we have to be like, okay, how do we pitch this now? Because maybe it doesn't exactly fit in one of these
Yep.
boxes that sort of the big platforms like to have.
Yep.
And then I don't know if you find that it's,
Yep. Yeah. No,
yeah,
my first book is a historical fiction, but it's based on a real event, so it's kind of both
yeah.
fiction and non-fiction. But yeah. Anyway, where can people get all your books?
Oh, yes, that might be important. So the first book is called A Tale of Something New, and it's currently on Amazon with Kindle Unlimited. I'm hoping to go wide when this next period ends, like 90 days. So currently, A Tale of Something New is the first book in the series. It's in on Amazon. I also have a website though, which is ataleofbooks.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter there. You can also book three, you can buy, but I will say they are, based on each other. So
Yep.
you will have to read the first two to understand
Yeah.
the third one. Yeah. But yeah, there's a little bit about me and the people that I work with, like my editors and artists and stuff. So yeah, worth checking out.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the elevator.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. What floor are we on now?
Oh, it depends if we're either on the roof or we're in the basement. It's one of
Oh, okay, let's go to the roof. I
the
think that
roof,
sounds
right? Probably a good view.
yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. If you want to come on the elevator, reach out to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com.